National Garden Festival here on this site between May and October in 1986 is a very significant event for Stoke-on-Trent. First of all, it will see the completion of the restoration and reclamation of this 180-acre site, one of the biggest derelict sites in the West Midlands. Secondly, it will show Stoke's ability to host a national event of this colossal nature.
The National Garden Festival. They used taxpayers' money, £23 million to be precise, to create this event to then ultimately sell it to the highest bidder and turn it into the retail park. But on the flip side of the coin, they spent that money to also create jobs, and it made it so the retail units create money for the economy today.
I found it funny that on Wikipedia it literally says that every single one have turned into retail and greenland space, and there is little left of what once was there. And to me, that's a shame. I really wish that they kept it and turned it into something like Trentham Gardens or the Alton Towers. It's a missed opportunity, but obviously their plan was to turn it into that retail site and into that housing that it is, and they were successful in doing that. St Modwens today are still renovating the site with the Utoria Valley Link Road, where we've had new massive distribution units gone up there as well, which is great to see for big companies coming in, such as Overclockers UK.
Join in the fun at Europe's most spectacular festival. An explosion of colourful entertainments with thousands of indoor and outdoor shows and attractions for all the family. Set in the finest show gardens you've ever seen. The National Garden Festival Stoke-on-Trent, open every day. The biggest family festival this year.
This project is a real passion project of mine. I'm really into the local history of the area. And I was actually talking to an old colleague of mine where they sort of told me what Festival Park used to be like and how big and how important it was for the community. And I was really amazed by it, and it took me down a rabbit hole. Today, the site of the National Garden Festival is Festival Park. The plan to regenerate the area, turn the site into the retail and residential area you see today.
I mean, it was a real success story against some of the other garden festivals that took place around the country. Stoke was one of the most successful ones in terms of that regeneration of that industrial type land. And obviously, Festival Park, the hotel, the cinema complex, everything that we've got there was as a result of that investment, and it was something that the city desperately needed at that time. So I think, very money well spent at the end of the day in terms of that investment. It's a shame in some ways that some of that surrounding park area isn't necessarily known about in the same way. If you go off on the beaten track and you explore around there, so they've done a couple of celebrations around the various different anniversaries of the Garden Festival over the years. And if you go and explore around there are still quite a few sort of, memories, sculptures, different things that you can still see. And maybe we just need to make a little bit more of that really in terms of shining a light on the fact that the Garden Festival was here, the significance it played within the city and the role it had. Because there is still quite a lot to see and do in that area, and it is quite a nice green space to sort of get out and explore, and as part of that wider Festival Park offer, there is still quite a lot to see and do on the wider periphery as well.
The largest remaining area of the festival is located here behind Morrison's. This part of the site was called Woodland Ridge North. Here you can find the footbridge, wind pump and picnic glade. This green arch is also part of the festival, originally yellow and placed just beyond this point where the yellow brick paving is. As you can see, the festival space is vastly different. As the foliage has matured over the years, there is still little remains of what once was.
So here is a bridge that connects Woodland Ridge north and south. So this bridge is seen in many photographs, becoming an icon of the event. Today it is owned by St Modwen's, which is the company that redid all of Festival Park to create the retail park it is today. It is closed under refurbishment.
This is Jerry Smith. He owns his own company here in Stoke-on-Trent, and he visited the Garden Festival when he was 23. We have taken him today on a trip around the site to see what he remembers.
The bridge is here. You see the path there? The trains used to come up this path. They used to go up this way and then around the corner, and that's where they used to leave, where the entrance was. Look at this now. I was 23 the last time I came here, 37 years ago. Everything's overgrown, the foliage is overgrown, it's matured massively. Everything that used to be here, it's all overgrown. There was cable cars, trains, everything was fantastic back then, but now it's a shadow of its former self.
I remember going round, seeing all the various different gardens, seeing the scale of the garden festival for what it was. And one thing which really stands out in my mind, which probably as a 7-year-old is the sort of thing that you do remember, was a display of toilets, which was probably obviously one of the ceramic sanitary ware producers in the city at the time. And I think they were blue from memory. And it was basically a fountain of toilets with the waterfall all coming down, just showcasing, you know, the range of ceramic ware that the city produces really as much as anything else. And that's something that, to this day, that's probably the one thing that really stands out as part of a real big memory for the festival.
Here, Claire is talking about the Twyford Cascade. This display was by Stoke-on-Trent born company Twyford Bathrooms. This display consists of 36 toilet basins and 32 bidets.
From my interview with Claire, she very, very kindly let me borrow this book, which is the official guidebook for the National Garden Festival. It's very, very cool to see and have my hands on this now. This helped me when recording for the documentary, looking at all the research there is in this, such as the Twyford Cascade, which she has very fond memories of.
As a child, 11, 12 years old, the Garden Festival was a really exciting venue to visit. Me and my family used to go quite regularly. There'd be lots of local companies there, events, competitions. I can remember playing the game Subbuteo against the world Subbuteo champion there. There was the cable car ride that I really enjoyed. Lots of lovely scenery, and I think flower competitions and things like that. But the weekends, we had an annual pass, or a pass for the 4 months, 5 months that it was in operation. So we used to go quite regular, have picnics and stuff like that. So it's quite a highlight within my childhood. But yeah, it's probably a shame that the original intention of what it was for, there's no legacy there in terms of the tourism element.
There are still sculptures from the National Garden Festivals around Stoke-on-Trent, some being in the Potteries Museum, various around Hanley, and one of the most famous ones is Hanley Blue Clock that originated at the Garden Festival. This documentary was to shed light on what once was here in Stoke-on-Trent, which today is just a retail site and not looked after parkland, which, like I say, it's such a shame because it was natural beauty, and to show off various companies in Stoke-on-Trent, this is Stoke-on-Trent, this is what we do. And today it's retail space and car park, which from a business point of view, they were successful in creating money today for the economy. But back then, that festival was so good, and today it's not recognisable.
Our industries are gone. The pot banks have gone, the coal's gone, the steelworks have gone. That's Stoke-on-Trent.